Hello and welcome to Science Radio. In today's segment, we visit a research lab in Pune.
There is an implication in biology because now you can utilize the local heat around plasmonic nanostructures to also target specific tumors which are highly localized.
This is Science Radio on Vidyavani 107.4. The Photonics and Optical Nanoscopy Laboratory, situated in H-Cross Complex at IISER Pune, is run by Dr. Pawan Kumar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Physics. Dr. Pawan Kumar obtained his BSc and MSc in Physics from Bangalore University and went on to do his PhD from the Jawaharlal Nehru Centre for Advanced Scientific Research, JNCASR, in Bangalore. He then pursued 2 postdoctoral fellowships, first at the Institute of Photonic Sciences in Barcelona, Spain, and then at Purdue University in Indiana, USA. Sharvari caught up with Dr. Pawan Kumar and some of his students at the lab.
Hello listeners, this is Sharvari and I am at the Photonics and Optical Nanoscopy Laboratory in H-Cross Complex, IISER Pune. This lab, run by Dr. Pawan Kumar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Physics, is currently undertaking cutting-edge research in plasmonics. Let's talk to Dr. Pawan Kumar to find out more. For the benefit of our listeners, can you tell us what plasmonics is?
Plasmonics is actually one of the sub-area of the emerging nanophotonics research. It utilizes the free electron oscillations at the metal dielectric interface and interfaces those oscillations with electromagnetic radiation. This has now emerged as a field where you actually can control light at scales smaller than the wavelength of light. Not only an important area in understanding light-matter interaction, but also an area of optics which has plenty of applications. So it has both fundamentals and applications interwoven within that particular area of research.
What impact do you think plasmonics will have in future?
Probably the most important impact which already has occurred is in a field called surface enhanced Raman scattering. Before plasmonics, there was no way that you could have performed Raman scattering of a single molecule, because Raman scattering inherently is a very weak phenomena, and if one needs to perform Raman scattering on individual entities such as single molecules, it was almost impossible because the optical process is very weak. But due to the local optical field created around the nanostructures, you are now able to actually perform Raman scattering down to the level of single molecules. In future, one of the important applications which may come out is quantum nanophotonic technologies and also optical circuits, because plasmonic nanostructures, for example plasmonic nanowire, which we extensively study in this particular laboratory, are potential candidates for interfacing light to nanoscale and can create some kind of an interconnect and hopefully can replace some of the electronic circuitries. It has capability to push the limits of how fast a circuit can actually function. One of the major areas and major thrusts in this particular research field is to understand how efficiently you can propagate light from one location to another location through channels which are actually smaller than the wavelength of light. There is an implication in biology because now you can utilize the local heat around plasmonic nanostructures to also target specific tumors which are highly localized. Earlier you had to incident huge flux of radiation. You not only damage the tumor but also the skin around or the tissues around the tumor. But now you have a capability to only target that small area by incidenting very small flux of radiation on it.
How does your research deal with plasmonics?
At this particular lab, we are mainly interested in understanding how well we can utilize these plasmonic nanostructures to localize, propagate, enhance, in general harness light at nanoscale. One of the reasons why this problem of controlling light at nanoscale has become so important is for 2 reasons. One is quantum systems such as molecules and even for that matter atoms or any kind of nanostructures nowadays which are like quantum dots and other things are of the scales which are much smaller than the wavelength of light. So if you want to control their emission characteristics, also control their mechanical properties, you actually can utilize forces and radiation created by these particular plasmonic nanostructures. So one of the goals in our laboratory is to effectively utilize architectures made of metallic nanostructures, understand how light interacts with those metallic nanostructures, how one can harness this particular localized fields for various kinds of studies, including fundamental and application-based studies.
What are some of the common challenges faced as a scientist working in this area?
One of the problems of actually working in this particular field is that you will have to deal with the losses. If you actually incident light, that light interacts with nanostructures, and those nanostructures not only propagate localized light, but some of the light gets converted into heat. One of the problems is to minimize the heat. So that is one of the biggest technical challenges in plasmonics. But people have made use of the heat generated around the nanostructures also, as I mentioned, for photothermal therapy and things like that. In terms of scientific challenges, one of the important thing is that you need to actually have good nanofabrication facility. So gaining knowledge in preparation of advanced materials, further having gained knowledge, how do you interface this with the optical physics? You are essentially bridging two different areas, and that bridging is not so trivial because you will have to actually gain experience in both the things, understand problems in both the things. But once you actually have gained such sufficient depth in such areas, it's very fruitful because you can see very interesting problems at the interface. You will see that you can not only attack problems which are of fundamental in nature, but also there are so many applications which can emerge out.
Arindam and Ravi are PhD students in this lab.
I am Arindam Dasgupta. I am in PhD 4th year.
What is the research problem that you are working on?
We are working on characterization of optical antennas. Optical antennas are transducers which can convert far field radiation into near field and near field radiation to the far field. We take plasmonic nanoparticles or nano architectures and then radiate it with light. In the close vicinity of that nanostructure, you have very high electric field. That electric field can enhance optical interactions with molecules. So we build a microscope which can do that.
Myself, Ravi Prakash Tripathi. I am a PhD student. I joined ISER in 2012. Currently, I am working on energy momentum spectroscopy of plasmonic metamaterials. Metamaterial is like the metal which don't exist in the nature. We construct or we create such kind of material which exploit these property of surface plasmons and shows the different behavior. So such kind of material I am working on, and currently I am doing the energy momentum spectroscopy of that. So by this we can see how the material will emit the light through the layered structure or structured film.
Shreyas and Rohit are undergraduate students in the lab.
I'm Shreyash and I'm doing my 5th year project in this lab. Basically, I'm working on the interaction of plasmonic nanostructures with light. The special thing that I want to do is interaction with modified light. We have equipment such as spatial light modulators which can modulate the amplitude as well as frequency of the light. In this way, we can create different kinds of beams from a normal Gaussian laser beam, like Bessel beams and more higher order like Guer-Gaussian modes and all that.
I am Rohit Chikareddy. I am 5th year BSM student. I am doing my 5th year project thesis. I am looking at how does a plasmonic structure interact with molecules or the aggregate of molecules. These plasmonic structures are mainly made up of metals. So these metals have free electrons. On excitation of these free electrons, they oscillate. This oscillation gives rise to very huge electric field in the near field vicinity. So when you place a molecule in this near field vicinity, the characteristics of molecule changes. So on understanding these characteristics, one can understand how a plasmonic structure can be utilized for harvesting energy. One major important thing about this lab is freedom. You have all the freedom to do whatever you are interested in. So that is the whole reason why I am there in this lab since 3 years.
All the people are friendly and we get access to such equipment. Like MS students are not expected to get so much so fast.
One side you deal with the company made systems and other side you deal with the optics which are free and you can manipulate according to your wish.
There seems to be a lot of interesting equipments in your lab. Can you tell us about a few?
Yeah, one of the most important things myself and my students are extensively involved in this laboratory is to build instruments. In fact, the advantage of some of the things what we do is that we do not actually have a standard setup and then we go and do some experiments. We actually first choose a particular problem and we build an instrument. For example, here is a confocal Raman microscope. This particular Raman microscope has the capability to perform Raman microscopy and imaging at a resolution approximately about lambda by 2, where lambda is the wavelength of light. So the limits up to which you can push this particular technique in terms of spatial resolution is still diffraction limited. But you can do spectroscopic characterization of nanostructures down to the diffraction limit. So this particular system is partially factory built and partially custom built. So we interface with industry and also get such kind of instruments built. So coming to this table, as you can see there are 3 tables. The first table is what I just described. The second table is mainly with respect to linear plasmonics. On the second table you will see 2 optical microscopes. One is in an upright configuration, the other one is in an inverted configuration. So the upright configuration has a capability to do something called dark field imaging. In addition to that, we also can optically trap objects. So bottom channel takes care of the dark field imaging, the top channel takes care of the optical trapping. And these optically trapped objects can be spectroscopically probed and further utilized to understand light matter interactions. The other microscope, which is an inverted microscope, is mainly used for performing experiments where you want to understand the distribution of intensities in Fourier domain. Most of the time, let's say you take a camera, the image what you capture is the distribution of intensity in the real space, meaning you get the intensity as a function of x and y coordinates. So what we do is we take that particular image and optically Fourier transform that particular image so that you get the information in the momentum domain. This is important because you will be able to tell if a nanostructure is emitting directional light, then you actually can capture the directionality of emission, which is not possible in conventional cameras. One of the goals or one of the main objectives of building this microscope is to actually perform something called as leakage radiation microscopy, where plasmons leak out of the system and you can capture those plasmons, and further having captured it, you can project it onto the camera and you will be able to see the distribution of light in the momentum space. So this completes the second table. The third table, what you see here is some of the optics what we are building is still under construction. One of the main goals of this particular experiment is to interface nonlinear optics with plasmonics. Usually conventional optics or linear optics, it is the first power of the electric field of the electromagnetic radiation which couples to the plasmonic nanostructure. Whereas if you take a sufficiently intense light source, such as let's say femtosecond laser, the higher order electric fields can couple to plasmonic nanostructure. So what we do here on this particular table is to couple such high intensity lasers and interact them with the plasmonic nanostructures. We can study nonlinear optical effects such as second harmonic generation, 2-photon luminescence, and we can also utilize the same techniques to understand some interesting physics such as transient absorption. The main goal of this particular setup is to actually interface microscopy methods with nonlinear plasmonics. So thereby you actually can probe nanostructures at diffraction limit and hopefully in future beyond the diffraction limit.
With this, we come to the end of today's episode. Tune in again next week for another episode of Science Radio. Do write to us. Our email ID is radioiserpune@gmail.com. That is radio, IISER, Pune@gmail.com. This is your host, Saurajit Basu, signing off.